Hello, welcome to Liverpool FC News Today channel.
Liverpool produced a thoroughly impressive display to breeze past Ajax 3-0 at the Johan Cruijff Arena and seal their spot in the Champions League knockout stages. Jurgen Klopp's side were under pressure for the first half an hour of play but took control of the tie after goals from Mohamed Salah. Darwin Núñez and Harvey Elliott clinched a memorable victory in Amsterdam. Mohamed Salah gave the Reds the lead against the run of play after 35 minutes. Smartly dinking over Ajax goalkeeper Remco Parveer, who was way off his line and made a questionable decision to come out. Darwin Núñez was guilty of a shocking miss just before the break but made amends with a pinpoint header to double their advantage. Before Harvey Elliott made sure of the win on 52 minutes. Express Sport looks at 5 things we learned as Klopp's men secured their spot in the last 16 knockout round. When he is in the mood, there are few players in Europe more influential than Salah. Ajax would have been furious that he was allowed to ghost in unmarked behind Calvin Bassey to lob Parveer, and they were suitably punished with an incisive finish. Then the Egyptian turned provider with an excellent through pass to set Elliott through on goal, and the 19-year-old produced a thumping finish to make sure of their win. So often, Liverpool have turned to Salah for moments of magic, and the 30-year-old certainly delivered at the crucial moments. Even if he has struggled to maintain his usual high standards on a consistent basis this season in the Premier League, Liverpool will be glad to have him in this vein of form in Europe. After scoring his 6th goal in 5 Champions League appearances this season and 4 games in a row, Salah is now just 1 goal away from equaling Steven Gerrard's European record, and few would wager against the talisman reaching that milestone before the competition concludes for this season. For weeks, Klopp has searched for a different variation of his flat 4-3-3 after watching his side become slightly predictable. The 4-2-2-2 was trialled against Arsenal but ended in them suffering a 3-2 defeat, and their experiment against Nottingham Forest also ended in defeat. But with Salah and Núñez combining in a front 2 with Roberto Firmino in behind, Klopp made do with a 4-3-1-2 due to a lack of wingers available, and it worked a treat. Firmino had the freedom of Amsterdam in his number 10 role while Núñez and Salah occupied the 2 centre-backs, and Ajax struggled to contain the front 3. It remains to be seen whether he will use the same setup for their clash against Leeds. But the German tactician will be delighted his tinkering has rendered a positive result. As the Ajax fans sang their classic anthem 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley and the Wailers, the lyric "Don't worry about a thing" must have stood out for Darwin Núñez. Just before the break, the Uruguayan was guilty of a bad miss after somehow striking against the post from 6 yards out when the goal was at his mercy. But he made amends just after the break, heading home from Andy Robertson's corner to give Liverpool some breathing room. There is no denying Núñez has found it difficult to adapt to life with the Reds after his £85 million switch from Benfica. But the goals have started flowing, easing the burden placed upon his shoulders, which should make that transition somewhat easier in the coming weeks. There was nothing pretty about the way Liverpool went about their business in the first half. Sloppy mistakes on the ball were prominent. 0 shots in the first 25 minutes and a lack of confidence in possession. But defensively, the Reds worked cohesively as a unit to try and limit Ajax's free-flowing attacking moves and stay in the game. Normally, they would be expected to dominate matches of this kind. But their current situation required an altered approach where results would be prioritized over style. Klopp barked instructions from the touchline to ensure his players stayed in line, and they worked tirelessly off the ball to make life difficult for Ajax. By suffering for a long period as they weathered the storm, Liverpool were able to frustrate Ajax and take advantage of their profligacy in the key moments. Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold both misplaced passes, Joe Gomez was caught out of possession, and even Virgil van Dijk was a bystander as Steven Berghuis needed only 2 minutes to carve open the Liverpool backline before somehow hitting the post. It was a warning sign for the visitors, once they failed to heed, as Dusan Tadic went close. Soon after, and the Serbian would have certainly scored had Alexander-Arnold not blocked his effort inside the box. Even If Klopp's men have only shipped only goal in their past 3 matches, Alisson Becker is responsible for a large share of the praise. And only Ajax's profligacy helped them avoid another defensive inquest after a nervy start in Amsterdam.